So what is your name and what do you do?
My name is Donald Sowash, and I record a lot of music. Ranges from like indie albums to video game music, video game OSTs, soundtracks, just about anything music related. And I also play a lot of video games as well. Yeah.
Did you travel far to get here?
I traveled about 3 hours here. My friends, a lot of them come to Magfest. They've been to Magfest about 5 or 6 years. They told me that it would, that it was just a big party and I should come. And I came last year and I loved it. So I think it was worth the 3-hour drive to be here.
How many years have you been going to Magfest?
This is my second year at Magfest. Last year being my first, and I plan on being here every other year.
What would you say makes Magfest different from other conventions?
Magfest is different from other conventions for the simple fact that we are all family. Like, you have some of the shyest people, some of the most awkward, their whole life is just anxiety, like social anxiety. They couldn't talk to people in high school like through their whole lives, and they might be 30 now. But when you come to Magfest, you can literally just walk outside and just say hi to someone and they'll just talk to you. Like, you can immediately have a connection with everyone that you meet, everyone that you talk to. You could even get in an argument with someone over, like, you're playing an arcade game with them. And, you know, normally if you're, like, playing online, like, if you get your ass kicked at a game, you're normally just like, you know what, fuck you, I fucking hate you. But at Magfest, someone beats you, you are hugging them, shaking their hand, and then you're drinking a beer with them.
What would you say is your favorite Magfest memory?
I remember I was in the arcades, I was playing Mortal Kombat 3. Actually, I think it was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And I was like, you know, playing my ass off, and this guy came up and he just... I was at Mataru, and I was about to win. I'd been at this arcade for an hour, and nobody had come up to play this game. And then this, like, small-ass dorky kid came up and just smoked my ass, and then killed Mataru and killed Shao Kahn. And I, like, watched all of it, and I was just, like, bitter as fuck about it for the rest of my life, really.
Did you get to play any good games this year?
Favorite game, Magfest this year, 2018, is probably Killer Queen. Just because there is a lot of shit talking going on with Killer Queen. I was down there, I was literally taking shots of tequila with this chick, and she was like, yeah, you should play this game. And literally as soon as I show up, like, gold team wins, and they were like, so how does it feel to lose, blue team? You haven't won yet.
Let's rectify that.
Yeah. And blue team never won. I was there for an hour. Blue team sucked ass.
So my next question is, so would you say that so far, is this year better or worse than your last Magfest?
This year is better for me in the sense of I'm more prepared for what I did not expect last year. Now, the up and coming to Magfest 2018 was a little shitty just because me and my friends were put on a lottery system on if we were going to get a room at the Gaylord or not. And that was a huge bummer to us because, you know, all 4 of us were on our computers pre-registering to get a badge, because we thought that if you pre-registered to get a badge, and if you got the lowest price on your badge, then you were guaranteed a room at the Gaylord. But that was not the case when it came down to actually getting your room, where it didn't matter if you were in that waiting room for 10 hours or 10 minutes. You were still thrown in a loop of lottery-esque bullshit to get a room, but luckily we got a room. So, I would say this Magfest is better. Might get some pussy.
So now moving forward, what would you like to see return for next year's Magfest?
Next year's Magfest, I would like to see a lot more of the hallway performers, because I feel like a lot of the people on the main stages and the chip stages, I feel like there's not enough underground artists playing, because it is Magfest, music and gaming. So where are the underground musical artists? Like, I see a lot of the same faces that you would see in the chiptune community, and there's a lot of like the nerdcore bands playing. I would just like to see, I would like to see the music actually open up and it would be more music oriented, because there's not a lot of, there's only like 3 stages. Of course you got like people in the hallways playing, but no one really gives a shit about them until like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when everyone's fucked up and wants to grind their ass and some
Yeah, so to just kind of wrap up, final question. The floor is yours. If you feel like you have anything left to say about Magfest, Magfest 2018, Magfest history, future, whatever, anything, this is your moment.
Next Magfest, there needs to be Square Therapy. It's a Roanoke, Virginia-based chiptune band. He does everything himself. You know, he's never had any leeways or pick-me-ups or anyone promoting him. It's always been him, and he deserves a place on the Magfest stage. Also, if you ever want to hear my music, if you give a shit about me, if you've ever heard of me, you can find my music on theopener.bandcamp.com. All of my music is free. It will forever be free, and music should never, ever be paid for.
Okay. Thank you for doing this interview.
Thank you for having me. Now let's get fucked up!
My name is Kaitlyn. My cosplay name is Aowen's Cosplay. I'm cosplaying as Gladiolus from Final Fantasy 15. And what I do is I cosplay, I work, and I work out. It's pretty much my life.
Do you cosplay as a hobby or professionally?
It's definitely a hobby. I mean, I do commissions for people every once in a while, but it's mostly just a hobby.
Commissions like meaning what?
I do prop commissions, cloth commissions, shirts, things like that.
How long have you been cosplaying?
4 years.
Why did you pick
I picked my character after I finished Final Fantasy 15, which was about a month ago. I'm a really big fan of Final Fantasy 15, probably one of my favorite games I've ever played. And I wanted to cosplay Gladio because I like Gladio, and not a lot of people do Gladio, so I feel like you need some love. So I did it.
What would you say are your top 5 cosplays you would like to do?
The cosplay that I want to do the most in the future is Pulsefire Ezreal from League of Legends. I'm not quite skilled enough to do it yet. It involves a lot of electronics, movable parts, LED lighting, which I'm kind of working on bit by bit to get to that point. But that's what I want to do for sure. And other than that, just fun things like Gwendolyn, working on her, and just stuff I have in the future.
You get to check out any of the cosplay meetups or photo shoots?
I went to the Atlus one last night. I did Saye because I normally do Arsene, but it's really cold and it's really windy, and I would die if I tried to wear Arsene today.
So how many years have you been going to Magfest?
This is my second year going to Magfest. I went 2 years ago, missed last year because I was in Atlanta, and now I'm here again this year.
How did you find out about Magfest?
I found out about Magfest through a friend of mine who's like, I'm coming down to go to a con, can I stay at your place, and do you want to come with me? And that's kind of how I found out about it.
What would you say makes Magfest different from other conventions?
I'd say Magfest is really different because it's, unlike a lot of other conventions, it's more relaxed. A lot of conventions like Katsu or like Otakon, there's things are like very like rigid in scheduling, and there's a lot like happening. Cosplay is really big there. Cosplay is not like huge here. It's kind of like a smaller thing, and it's more like it's easier just to move around and do kind of things that you want to do. There's less people, so you can actually kind of like maneuver and get things done. Favorite Magfest memory? Favorite Magfest memory? Like, do I have one? I think probably my favorite Magfest memory is doing like group stuff. Probably like last night, we had a group together and we were all like walking around, and we were cosplaying together, and it's more fun to do things with a group. And you get like, we play Jenga, and that's probably like, it sounds really stupid, but probably Jenga was my favorite thing that I've done at Magfest in a while. Yeah, my boyfriend does a lot of music games, so we were playing like Musica, and unfortunately they don't have U-Beat here, so we weren't able to play that, but mostly like Musica, Tekken, things like that. This is my group. Let's see, it's just kind of like some of the indie games. The indie games were fun. There's one that we were playing with that kind of like changes the knobs and affects different like settings on the video, which was really interesting. We called it the seizure game because it's very weird. But yeah, that was fun. I've done Katsucon for 4 years, and this I think will be my either 4th or 5th year. Yeah. I'd probably pick Katsu. I do like Magfest a lot, but cosplaying really is my thing, and anime is really my thing, and I have a lot more friends that go to Katsu than Magfest. Magfest is really fun, but it's also a big thing too, where I'm more into like the culture of like the cosplay community, and I'm not huge into like the drinking and all that kind of stuff, which is very prominent at Magfest. So I'll drink a little bit, but sometimes it can get a little bit too much for me, kind of avoiding vomit sometimes.
Would you say that like the drinking culture at Magfest is something that is unappealing to you and like kind of turns you off?
I wouldn't say that the drinking culture is the worst. I think it's more of the drug and vaping that turns me off the most. Like, I couldn't even go into the game room last night because the vape in the air was so powerful that I wanted to vomit. So that's why I usually go during the day for the games, because at night it can get a little bit too much. But yeah, other than that, like the drinking culture, it's drinking. Like, I go to Dragon Con. Dragon Con's much worse. So like, that's not the turn off.
Have you seen any good cosplay shows? Stands out?
I mean, I've seen like a couple good things. I mean, everyone's costume is like decent and good. Like, I haven't seen anything like crazy, because I think most people are probably saving their like crazier stuff for like a more cosplay-oriented con, kind of show it off there. And like a con like this, it's not particularly super cosplay friendly. Like, there's no like code check or anything like that to like put your stuff, or a place to put bags. So it makes it harder for people with like bigger builds to kind of maneuver around, because you don't really have anywhere to put anything.
Will you be coming back to Magfest next year?
Most likely.
Would you do anything different, anything at all different for Magfest next year?
Probably be in charge of the hotel room, but other than that, not much.
Oh, but I mean, like, if you could change one thing about Magfest.
I think they should be really a lot stricter on making sure people don't smoke in the con center. Like, if you see somebody vaping, take that vape and bring it out of the con center.
But otherwise,
other than that,
perfect con.
It's okay, yeah.
How do you feel about the space, the Gaylord National Park? How would you feel if they decided to, say, relocate Magfest next year?
Honestly, I don't think I'd mind. The convention center is nice, and it's plenty spacious for Magfest, because there's not as many people at Magfest, and it's like a pretty good setup. If they moved, it wouldn't really matter, because people aren't really supposed to be here for photo shoots. They're supposed to be here for games and gaming and music, and so at that point it doesn't really matter to me where the one location I'm at. I'm just here to have fun.
So how far have you traveled from Magfest?
40 minutes.
Oh, okay, so you're close.
I'm close by, yeah.
if you have anything left to say about Magfest, about the conventions, about cosplay, the floor is yours.
I really like Magfest, and I think it's very interesting because I think it's kind of hitting like a turning point now, where they're adding more things like things that are like cosplay's coming more out of the woodworking, and it's kind of interesting seeing the transition between more like what it was in the past and kind of how people are reacting to kind of the change as the con as a whole. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's gonna go in the future.
I think as the show gets bigger.
By the way, You haven't been causing any trouble, have you?
Persona!
Guys, I'd like to make an announcement. Yes! So, this started off as a really stupid idea of mine by I wanted to ask a DJ after the photo shoot to play Persona music so we could all dance to it. However, it somehow involved not getting food, it somehow devolved to not getting food from Domino's, asking a DJ again, and then not being able to get speakers that we are here today. I don't know how it happened, but I don't care.
Big mood!
But I'm happy.
Big mood! So much! I don't know how
I'd like to thank all of you for a wonderful night, and I'd like a group hug from everybody.
Yes!
Yeah, get in. We are Persona! Yes!
We're gonna make one big Persona!
Max social link! Alright, on three.
Ultimate right here. Ultimate fusion.
3, 2, 1 more. On three, Mara. 3, Mara! I thought I'd count down.
First question, what is your name? What do you do? And how far did you travel to get here?
My name is Neal Ballard. I work for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services in the great state of Texas, which is where I traveled from, Austin, Texas.
How did you travel here?
I flew, yeah. Flew into Ronald Reagan Airport and then took a lift to the hotel.
How many years have you been going to Magfest?
So my first Magfest was 2014. That was the year that it was Zelda themed. And with the exception of 1 year, I've been coming since then. So this is my fourth, right? It's 2014, then I missed 15, so 16, 17, yeah. This is my fourth one.
Out of all the Magfests that you've been to, which one would you say is the best Magfest?
Best Magfest I went to, and that's really hard because my first one was really memorable. So much awesome stuff happened. I'm actually drawing a blank on what happened on the second Magfest. That was the one where I got the room and it was actually you were my roommate that year for the one day. And then I don't remember a lot that happened at that Magfest. Last year was pretty good. This year has actually been really good too, even though I really don't feel like I've done a whole lot. But I've been having a good time with friends and everything. So, but I would say my first Magfest 2014, that was probably my favorite one because it was my first one, and I got to meet so many. Yeah, that was actually my first con ever, let alone my first Magfest. And so I got to meet so many great friends that I knew from the internet but had never met in person. So that's why it was really memorable for me.
So why Magfest?
So I was anyway, a member of a community on the internet, Destructoid. Still technically a member of the community, but not as involved as I was back then. And I was in their forums, rest in peace, and knew a lot of people on there, talked to a lot of people, and always heard amazing things about Magfest. Even on the front page, they would list stuff like, you know, here's all the cool people we met at Magfest, here's all the cool things we did, here's this great group photo of everybody at Magfest, you know. And so I was like, you know what, I've heard all this great stuff. It's not as, I knew just from hearing everything that it's not as super crowded and not as commercial as stuff like PAX or, you know, obviously E3, but you know, some of the other stuff. And so I wanted to do that because it's like, you know, Magfest is literally just for the love of music and games and the people that love said music and games. So that's why I decided to come to Magfest instead of trying to go to PAX, you know, even though I heard awesome things about that too.
Did you attend any of the concerts? And so far, which concert was your favorite?
Haven't attended too many yet. I'm definitely more of a games guy, but I do always try to catch at least one of the DJ shows. So first night, Thursday night, there was a big DJ showcase up at there's a nightclub in the hotel. So it was up there, and that was sick. That was just so awesome. So we watched, or I listened to Wishlist, James Gambino, wait, no, I'm saying his name wrong. It was something Landino. Thank you. I was thinking of what's?
Gambino,
I was thinking of him. I was thinking of Childish Gambino. That's what I was thinking of. No, but James Landino, A-Rival, Cutman, Grimecraft. It was an awesome show, and I was literally right in front of the DJ booth. It was perfect. And then last night went and saw Powerglove. That was my first time ever seeing them. That was an awesome concert. And then I'll probably go to, they usually do a chip rave on Saturday nights, so I'll probably go to that tonight if my back will let me.
You mentioned games.
Yep.
So what would you say is like the best game you've played at Magfest so far?
I learned how to play Magic the Gathering.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. Like, I'd never played Magic. I've always seen people play. And they were doing a thing over there where it's like, come learn to play Magic, you know? So played that. That was fun. Or I didn't actually play it, but I watched them play and kind of got in. I don't think it's a game that I would normally, like, I don't think it's one that I'm going to start picking up and trying to play. But, you know, just like actually seeing how to play it. The girl that was teaching us was really cool, and she made it super easy to understand. So Magic the Gathering was kind of fun to learn how to play, though I didn't actually play it. In terms of games that I have actually played, I actually just got back from the console area and I was playing some Rock Band. I played some Crazy Taxi yesterday over in the arcade. They actually have the arcade Crazy Taxi, which is a lot of fun. Played some pinball. In the room, in my hotel room, I've got SNES Classic set up. I've played some games on there. You brought a PS4. We've been playing some PS4 games. So yeah, a lot of stuff. But I think right now, the one that I've had the most fun with so far was actually probably just now with Rock Band. It's always fun to play.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at night.
Yeah.
Have you seen any good cosplay so far?
Oh God, yeah. There's a lot of good cosplay. I've seen your cosplay. You were doing Sojiro from Persona 5. In fact, there was a lot of Persona 5 cosplay yesterday. They were doing a whole Persona cosplay gathering thing. That was a lot of fun. Went and saw you, saw one of our roommates. He was dressed as Morgana from Persona 5. Seen a lot of other good stuff. Saw really good Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn. I saw there was a girl dressed as Shantae from the Shantae games. That was really good. I've seen there's always a lot of good cosplay at Magfest.
Moving forward, will you be coming back to Magfest next year?
I don't know. I know, I love Magfest so much, but there's been a lot of growing pains with Magfest even since 2014. So in 2014, the first year I came, I had no issues in getting a ticket. I had no issues in getting a hotel room. I was lucky enough to room with our friend Chad Valente, and so I had no issues with that. The 2015 was the year I missed. That was the year I went to PAX South. But 2016, again, didn't really have any issues. Was able to get a hotel room pretty late, actually. I think I got my hotel room in November, at that point. Got a ticket, no problem, but starting last year, it was very difficult to get a hotel. Trying to pre-register for Magfest was actually pretty difficult because everybody was trying to get onto the website all at the same time. And so you get a lot of slowdown, you get a lot of error messages, and so when you're trying to get the cheap tickets, when they first go on sale, but you're getting constant loading screens and everything, and even though you're there on time, you still get forced to pay the extra $10 or $20. And that started last year, and it happened to me again this year. They did the kind of lottery style with getting the hotels this year. It worked for me. I was lucky enough to get a room here in the Gaylord, but others were not so lucky, including a lot of our friends, and which is why a lot of our friends had to actually cancel, and so it's kind of upsetting. So I'm thinking, we'll see how I feel at the end of today being, essentially the last day of Magfest. But I just don't know if I'm going to be coming back next year or not. I may do a different con instead next year.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the people running Magfest?
I don't know if there's anything that they can, to go with all the problems that I just mentioned, in terms of pre-registration, hotel registration, all that stuff. In terms of the festival itself, I think it's perfect. Maybe try and get. I love what they did with the main stage, where instead of the two stages, it's now just one giant stage. But at the same time, I understand that actually means you have maybe half of the talent, in terms of main stage players. But I think with that, they were able to get the nightclub this year, so that's where they did a lot of the DJ stuff. So I think that kind of evens out, because a lot of the big concerts was DJ stuff. I don't know if there's anything they can do in terms of registration for hotels and tickets and stuff like that, because Magfest has just gotten so popular that it's just really difficult to try and anticipate that. They've already got, virtually the entire hotel reserved specifically for Magfest. They've reached out to all the hotels in National Harbor and in the surrounding area. It's I don't know what else they can do, but I hope they do figure something out in terms of the festival itself. I think one thing that would be nice is if they made, for the tabletop area, it's hard to determine if people who are playing tabletop games are open to other random, strangers asking to join. So maybe create looking for group flags or something, there's a tabletop gaming bar near where I live, and that's what they do is if you want people to join your game, stick a flag up, so something like that would be good. Just, more games, more music, right? That's what it's about.
It's interesting that you say that, though, because that is a very Magfest problem. Because it's a very Magfest thing to just kind of have people randomly show up and be a part of what your party. It's just people just kind of snowball together and join.
It's both problem and bonus, because it's like, I don't know you, why are you here? But then you end up meeting really cool people that way. So it's like, I mean, there's the risk that you're going to find like some total weirdo creep, who is like, why? It's like, I don't want anything to do with you, kind of stuff. But, at the same time, you're meeting a lot of really cool people who have similar interests in you.
Good balances out the
Exactly, the good balances out the bad, if not exceeds the bad.
Okay, so thank you for agreeing to do this interview. First, let's start it off with what is your name, what do you do, and or what is your costume?
All right. My name is Gerro, and what I do, I'm actually in college. I am an undergrad student, speech language pathology, and my cosplay is Morgana from Persona 5.
How far did you travel today?
I traveled actually from New York, came down as the snowstorm was going to New York, so my 5-hour bus ride turned into about 7 hours. Yes.
How long have you been cosplaying?
I actually started cosplaying sort of back in high school. It was more just like, an amateur like hobby sort of thing. And I actually started off from Steins Gate, the main character, Hoing Kielma, forgot his real name, but I just started to actually cosplay as him because all you really needed was a gray shirt, a lab coat, and khakis. That's really all you needed there. And I went out for Halloween once and I really enjoyed it. And then fast forward to I think Otakon. I did go to that convention as Sasagawa Ryohei from this really old school anime, Katekyo Hitman Reborn. A few people recognized it and that was pretty cool for me. So then I went on to here, and here I am. I'm Morgana, Persona 5, pretty popular now, so it's really exciting to see people actually recognize me. So.
Jesus, you just said Morgana. You just said Hitman Reborn is old school. I'm like, that was new. I'm like, I stopped watching anime.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah, it's so underrated now. A handful of people only know about it. It's insane. They should know about it. They should.
So Persona 5 is something that is heavily in representation at this point, the last 3 conventions that I went to.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't think Persona 5 is going anywhere, and personally I think that's awesome. But there are a lot of really good characters. Why did you pick Morgana? Why Morgana over the other characters?
Well, I mean, first of all, I can tell you right now that there's just way too many Jokers out there. I went to Otakon around the time that the game, I think, initially released, and it was just so much. Overwhelming amounts of people cosplaying Joker, whether you call him Ren or Akira, whatever it is. And I saw there was a few Ryujis actually, about 5 or 7, and actually Yusuke got represented pretty well, whether it was his Phantom Thieves attire or his casual attire. But then, I saw, when it came to the Morganas, there was only, about 3 of them. And heck, even the Akechis got a lot more representation. So I was just like, you know what? Morgana's a really cool character, I feel. He's, sort of their mentor. He's the mascot character. And, I said, you know what, let's get more cosplays out there of him. He's a really cool character. That just entire inner struggle that he had to deal with in the game. It's just so cool, and it really attaches to the whole Phantom Thieves, the whole Phantom Thieves finding themselves trope that exists throughout the game. It's really nice, and I really appreciate the character and thought that he needed to be cosplayed.
Did you get to check out any of the cosplay meetups or photo shoots from Magfest at Magfest this year?
Of course, yeah. Well, definitely, of course, the Persona 5 shoot was really the only one that I was interested in. It was really interesting. I really think that I kind of think that it could have been done a little bit. I just wish it was a lot more time to do so. I feel there was a lot of people there. You could have had a lot of fun with the shoot, with a lot more combinations of characters. because they really stuck to single characters, which I was like, okay, that's fine. I felt that we could, like, you know, do something more with that. That and, like, the choice of where they decided to do was a little bit iffy, because, I mean, like, it was at the Fountains, which in itself was already dark by the time. So it's pretty interesting that they decided to shut off the lights and, you know, do that. I thought a little bit light would make the pictures look a lot more better. But, I mean, other than that, the photo shoot was great. I loved seeing all these characters there. I loved seeing, like, all the Skulls, Yusuke's, and, well, Jokers there as well. There was even another Morgana as well. So, I mean, it was pretty cool. Ended up really, really nice. And that's the only one I've been to, for the most part.
It's just a quick personal question. Did your mind get blown by any of the, by any of the costumes that did show up on like an obscure character? Or like an obscure version of one of the characters?
Definitely the Kamoshida. He is just, yep, he is absolutely just, I mean, the dude literally just showed up in a cape of hearts and pink underwear and a crown, and just rocked that Kamoshida cosplay. That is just something that, like, really just strikes me as, dang. First of all, you gotta have a lot of guts to pull off a thing like that. I'm hiding under a mask. He is bearing it all out. But yeah, no, definitely the Kamoshida was a fantastic cosplay that I would personally like, you know, love to see every time I go around.
How many years have you been going to Magfest?
This is actually my first time going to Magfest. I've been going to conventions, like here and there, mostly Otakon in, well, now DC, but previously in Baltimore. But this is my first Magfest. It's just the first, yeah.
How did you find out about Magfest?
I heard it from you, actually. I mean, actually, I did hear about it from one of my friends at the university I go to, and she was like, yeah, there's Magfest. She's actually a first-timer as well, so we decided to, you know, go there and see what it's all about, you know? Yeah, just have fun with it.
So far, the whole weekend, what has been your Magfest highlight?
Ah, man. So, well, dang. If I wanted to go for, you know, I'll just go for the real answer here. So basically, after the Persona photo shoot, and this was just total spontaneous things. Like, it's not as planned like the Persona photo shoot. It's something that, you know, you want to go to, you come to the convention for. This is one of the kind of occasions where you just, like, it just happens and you meet new people from it. Basically, after the Persona photo shoot, we figured, like, you know, let's order some dinner. And we figured, like, you know, we ordered a quick pizza from Domino's. Turns out that Domino's was only rated 1 star on Yelp, didn't come for about 3 to 5 hours later. And, like, that just was, oh my gosh, we were starving. We were just like, where's the pizza? We go into the Domino tracker app, and there's like, yep, we're firing it up in the oven for about 2 hours. So that was really interesting. In the middle of it, we decided to get some Chinese food. We managed to, like, just, you know, come together and eat it, though. But that is just, like, something not really big, I feel, but it's something that really just, like, brings people together. I did not know these people at all. I literally just asked them for a picture of cosplay, a picture with the one cosplayer, and then we just talked it out. And, you know, it's just something that I feel that's pretty cool because, you know, you go to cons because they're a social event. You meet people, you talk to people, and, you know, figure I fulfilled that purpose in that action, so.
As an aside, we just lost our Domino's sponsor.
Exactly.
Continue with the theme of cosplay. Have you seen any good cosplay on Magfest so far?
Do you mean just
Anything
specifically?
That, like, stands out, you know?
I've definitely seen a lot of interesting cosplays, and, like, a lot of good ones and a lot of bad, interesting cosplays, but I've definitely, one of them that really strike me is this one cosplayer that cosplayed Grapekun, and I know you don't know this, but, like, I'll explain this whole thing. Grapekun is a penguin that actually was in a zoo, and I'm not sure where the zoo is, but the zoo basically decided to put in anime characters from the anime Kimono Friends, I believe it is. They have, like, all these animal girls in there. So they assigned, like, you know, certain animal girls with animals in the exhibits. Now, this penguin named Grapekun he basically fell in love, essentially, with the cardboard cutout, to the point where when the event ended, they took out the cutout, and then all of a sudden, the penguin's like all depressed and stuff, so they ended up putting it back in. Really like interesting there. Sadly, he passed away, and that's why I think last year it was, he's actually so big on the internet. Today, actually, I saw this cosplayer in a suit with a cardboard cutout of the girl Luluco, who's like one of the penguin girls in the show, and all he had was just a plastic, like one of those rubber, not plastic, but rubber penguin masks on, and I just was just like, oh, it's Grape Kun, and he immediately looked over, and I think that that's one of like the craziest cosplays I have seen in this convention.
So this is going to be interesting for like from a perspective of your first time at Magfest. But,
Of course.
Will you be coming back to Magfest next year?
Well, I mean, if I were in the ideal situation where I had like money and like, you know, actual patience to go through the trip to get here, I mean, I think this is definitely like a different sort of experience from other cons I've been to. I've been to cons that don't run on 24 hours and aren't like, you know, flooded with music across all the halls. It's actually pretty cool, and I'd definitely like to come back. It's a pretty nice experience, and it's just like, you know, so much spontaneous things just happen, and like that I didn't expect would happen. And I think that I'm really excited for next year, considering I have the resources, to actually re-experience that. I think it's going to be great.
So what would you say is like the part of Magfest that you feel would draw you most to come back?
Let's see.
Like, what about the show?
Oh yeah, of course. I think definitely like just well, first of all, its location is just absolutely beautiful. This is my first time in the Gaylord, and I mean, it's just a really beautiful venue. Really beautiful views if you have the right hotel room, and really just overall beautiful place. Even if when you're going down the elevator, you can see the whole area and all the people going through, and it's really just like crazy. It's amazing. I would also say, besides location, that something that would make me come back is definitely just the overall atmosphere it carries. It's a lot different from the conventions that I'm used to. And I mean, like, it's just really interesting in that respect because of the whole 24-hour thing. I can hit up the dealer's room anytime or marketplace anytime I want. And, you know, at the same time, drop off my bag somewhere and just like dance the night away. It's a really interesting experience, and I would love to, you know, come back and experience that.
Hello and welcome. We are doing a very special interview within this larger video of interviews, and I am joined by two very important Magfest attendees this year. Could you please introduce yourselves and tell us what is the Brothers Cosplay and what is it about?
Hi, I'm Billy.
I'm Pat.
And we're brothers.
We're actual literal brothers.
Biological brothers.
For real brothers.
And we cosplay together. So we're the Brothers Cosplay. Yeah. It's not original in any way, shape, or form, but...
Well, it started with my brother had a cosplay page. And he'd always post my stuff. And eventually he's just like, why don't we just combine them and see what happens? And
yeah.
So far it's been going all right. Can't complain.
Yeah, we've broken world records so far. I mean, nothing crazy. We're humble. We're very humble.
Standard stuff.
So speaking of that, this year at Magfest, you guys had an awesome idea. Could you please explain what that idea was for anyone who doesn't know?
Well, we just wanted to throw the world's biggest wizard party. Like, you know, again, standard stuff. Like, no, really, it all started at last Magfest actually. Because I made a wizard outfit because for some odd reason, I had the idea in my head that we were doing a giant group wizard costume. And apparently, I just thought we were doing that, and turns out we weren't.
No one in our group agreed to doing a wizard.
Or like even mentioned it.
Yeah, there's no mention of wizardry in any of our group chats. I just made it up in his head.
Yeah, I just kind of fabricated it in my head, and I dressed up as a wizard. I built the beer can staff, and then was like, "Hey guys, where are your outfits?" And everyone's like, "Pat, what the hell are you talking about?" But the outfit was well received that night. Because I wore it on Friday night, and then Billy wore it on Saturday night. But Friday night, it was the first time I ever crowd surfed in my life.
Oh.
And it was just a good old time. So then at Katsucon, I made outfits for myself, my brother, and two of our friends. And eventually, like, con after con after con, well, actually at Katsucon, we found another guy dressed as a wizard and just like adopted him into our group. So we just like, we were wandering around, found another guy dressed as a wizard and said, "All right, no, you're with us." And now he's one of our...
He comes to cons with us now. We didn't know idea who he was.
Right.
But it was at Katsucon where we made this joke. We're like, Magfest, 100 wizards. We're going to get 100 wizards at Magfest.
So
which is now funny looking back at it.
So, but then it started like, we basically made a Facebook event called, and then so more and more people started getting involved, and
hype was getting up
there. Yeah, and I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and just had this thought in my head. I was like, "Is there a world record for most people dressed as wizards in one place?" And then I checked, and there was, and the record was 252, and we were like, "We could do that."
It's only 152 people away.
And then again, it started as a joke. So then it went from 100 wizards to the world's biggest wizard party.
And then at that point,
it was still a joke. It was still a joke.
100% a joke. People were down for it on the event page. They're like, "This is great." But like, we had zero plan. We had no idea we were going to do this.
Right.
And then I got a message from Brian Belcher, who runs Mega Manathon. And he also runs Half Empty Energy Tank. And I know him from Mag Stock. I've camped with him at 2 Mag Stocks. He's a great guy. He's a good friend. And he saw the event, and he messaged me, and he goes, "Can we have this at Mega Manathon?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Can I get 5 bands to play for you guys and just have the world's largest wizard party at Mega Manathon?" And then suddenly it became real. Like, we had a stage.
We had a band. We had your official Magfest event. We were on Guidebook.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it escalated really quickly.
Then it kind of blew up from there. But honestly, we would not have been able to follow any of Guinness's rules had we not had that. We needed like an enclosed space with like a set entrance and exit. And we just would not have done that if we weren't at Mega Manathon.
So huge props to Mega Manathon. Those guys are awesome.
So then the event blew up from like 100 odd people saying they're going.
Yeah, it was like 150 to like 600 relatively quickly.
1,000 people interested.
But even then, we thought we're like, there's no way we're gonna get that many people. Like,
right, and then
it's like the stupid like yell donkey in the middle of the atrium, like those type of things. Like, we just thought people were saying
guards who run around the Washington Monument.
We're just like, oh yeah, the people are just gonna say they're going. And it wasn't until Friday when we realized, oh God, we're going to have the world record of largest wizards.
We were just wandering around and we saw people dressed as wizards. Like, just
during the day,
10 o'clock in the morning. Like,
I was getting Snapchats of like people like they were just snapping wizards all day. They're like, "Is this your friend?" I'm like, "I have no idea who that person is." And it just kept escalating from there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it started as a joke, humble beginnings. Started as 100 wizards. That was the goal. It ended with 562. So that was the wizard.
What exactly was going through your minds when you guys found out that you had crushed the Guinness World Record at Magfest 2018?
So I was sitting there doing the registration, signing people in, and well, actually, to really go back a little bit further, it was 6:50 or 4:45, and check-in started at 5:00. And I'm getting all of the stewards together who are supposed to be the volunteers that have to fill out paperwork for the Guinness Book of World Records for us to count. I was getting them all together, getting the paperwork done, and then it's 5 minutes until registration starts. And I think, was it you who came back like, what are you doing? You got to get over there. Or it was someone else. I think it was either you or Brian.
I think it was me.
Okay. Basically, and it was like, we were like 5 minutes away from starting. And I'm like, yeah, I got 5 minutes. Like, give me a second.
There's already 100 people waiting.
Right. And then I turned around the corner. So I'm like behind this like little.
Yeah, we couldn't see.
Right. So I'm behind this little thing, like a little corner. And then I look around and I just see like a mob of people all dressed as wizards at the end of the Mega Marathon area. And I'm like, oh no.
What have we done?
So then I'm like, oh, I guess we got to get going. So I grabbed the lawyer, Dave, who was our good guy. Dave is a good guy.
Good guy.
Who was going to be our official judge. Which that in itself is a whole other story. I'll tell you that once.
So he was a lawyer? You had to have a lawyer come down?
Yes, and I'll go.
Yeah, we'll go into detail
That's a whole
later.
story with that too.
Yeah.
So I basically grab someone. We move a table over. I get the paperwork down. I get the tickets, and I stand up on a chair, and I yell at people to get in line, and that's when it like hits me like, holy shit, there's a lot of people here. And I'm like, hello, thank you for coming to my party. I need you to get in line. So, right, because people really wanted the swag bags we were giving out to the first 100 people.
It's the swag bag from garbage.
They were terrible.
It was the biggest joke, and I don't know if, luckily no one complained about it.
Right.
It was literally a copy of Lord of the Dance on DVD.
Some Mardi Gras beads
and a chopstick to be a wand.
Well, hold on. I remember being in elevators and Lord of the Dance DVDs were inside the elevators.
Yeah, we had 240 copies.
We just gave them out.
So we just gave them out.
That was you guys? Oh my god. Nice.
Yeah. We gave out a lot of people.
Right. So a lot of people.
But we were we had the 240 copies in our room, in our hotel room. But I know for like the thing was like leading up to the count, Pat and I were going back and forth saying we're never doing this again because it was such a madhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like the logistics behind it, like what we had to do for Guinness, because Guinness is strict. We had no idea how strict they were going to be about it, which makes sense because they don't want Joe Schmoes just saying they broke a record. We're still working on the evidence package. It's 2 weeks later. We thought we'd have it done, but it's still working on it. But like we kept saying, we're never doing this again. We're never doing this again. As soon as that count happened, as soon as that count was done, and I made the announcement, and we just see the sea of wizards. Pat, myself, and Brian, the three of us looked at each other. We're like, "Oh, we are so doing this again next year," because like it was just this huge. Like we just couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe that a whole bunch of nerds were ready and willing to just be wizards for a night, and it was like our whole attitude changed. Now next year we're gonna probably do it again and hate ourselves again, though it won't be wizards. But it was just it went from like hating ourselves to just the most enthusiasm. Like it was just crazy. We were just super happy.
Yeah. So with Dave though. So the hardest part about this entire thing was
not getting the people, apparently.
Right. No, that was the easy part. But so you know how like you have those Guinness World Record attempts where they actually have the guy with plaque from Guinness. That costs $10,000 to do.
Magfest does not have $10,000
to have a guy show up with the plaque and verify you right then and there, so you don't have to do paperwork. That costs $10,000. You can do it for free if you put the legwork in and doing the paperwork, waiting the 15 weeks it takes to process, submitting all the evidence, waiting the 15 weeks for that evidence to be reviewed. So we'll actually find out if we have the record like in April.
Yeah. So we should have the record.
Right.
We're not worried, but it's just going to be a bit before we ever see the plaque.
Right. But that's so. In the meantime, we're still like pending. But in order to actually qualify, we need to have an independent witness. Well, two of them actually show up and verify the results. And there's a lot of criteria. They need to be like a respected member of society, so like a politician, a journalist, a lawyer,
a radio DJ,
like local celebrity, fire chief, police officer, someone like that, head of a school board. So I was sending emails out to tons of people. I emailed the Maryland state delegate of District 32, where National Harbor's at. I messaged the PG County Sentinel. I messaged the Washington Post. I messaged the Washington Post. I messaged the Washington Wizards, which I thought would be perfect.
I had no idea what to do.
Right. So they were watching.
Like, what?
Well, the Wizards got back to me.
Yeah, the Wizards were like.
And I got an email basically saying, "What the hell are you talking about?" And then
they never talked to us ever again. Yeah.
So
they ghosted us real quick.
So in a moment.
So the Wizards ghosted the Wizards.
That would have been perfect. Just send a social media guy down, take pictures or something. I'm silly like that.
Oh well.
But they're lost.
Dave.
So I, in an act of desperation, post on Facebook, like, does anyone know like a school principal, a lawyer, someone like that?
Willing to come out to Magfest. We cannot pay for anything according to the Guinness rules
because it'd be considered a bribe.
It's a bribe. We can't pay them. We can't do anything for them. They can't know us.
Right. They can't.
We can't. It's like the most awkward.
So you have to like cold call lawyers and be like, "Hey, can you for free come down to DC during rush hour
to a convention where there's going to be zero parking because all the nerds are taking it all up?" And oh, by the way, it's going to be a whole bunch of people that you may or may not be like okay with,
right?
Because everyone's going to be in outfits. Like, there's going to be all sorts of people.
This is weird, but I know a lawyer in DC. And I just post like sarcastically, like, "Does he want to come down and count wizards on a Friday night?" And then she tags, "Hey, Dave, ever heard this one before?"
Yeah.
So him and his girlfriend. So Dave was there for the entire counting process, and his girlfriend was there for the final attempt. And the two of them just helped us out with verifying if people were or were not dressed as wizards.
They were strict.
And he was pretty strict about it.
It felt really bad because there were people who were like
had good outfits, but
on a normal day you would be like, "Yeah, they're a wizard," but like this guy was like, "No,
he's a normie dude." Like you have to convince a guy. So you can't just like say like, "Well, if you were to wear Harry Potter's clothing from the 7th movie, where he's like in street clothes, but you're dressed to the
It's like screen accurate." It was like, no, it didn't count because he was like, "I have no idea if you're a wizard. Right. Sorry."
Like Guinness wanted to maintain that standard of what is a wizard and what is not a wizard, essentially.
Big time.
Right. And it was
like we felt really bad because we had like people. I think there was a person dressed as Voldemort from the Harry Potter musical, which we get the reference,
but he didn't.
So he denied her, and I felt terrible. Like, you're denying Voldemort, which is not a good idea. But like I felt bad because she obviously put effort into her outfit. Yeah, regular Voldemort wouldn't count according to Guinness rules. Guinness was super strict. Like there was like a lot of rules and regulations that they were like, "Oh, these wizards wouldn't count. These wizards would."
Yeah, and so basically we left it up to the judge's discretion. We could not like convince him. We could not try to like, this was Dave. I couldn't be like, "Oh, look right there." I couldn't.
Oh, he's from that 4th episode of that one show.
It was
that only had one season.
Right. And he ended up like turning about like 80 people away.
Well, they still came to the party.
Right,
he allowed everyone to come to the party. We're like, y'all come.
Like about 80 people did not count.
Gotcha. So those people just okay. So actually, if anything, the record would have been higher if like he,
if he knew.
If he was more relaxed.
Yeah. Well, if him and Guinness were more lax, we would have had a bigger record. But
oh wow.
I mean, it's fine.
You know, to anyone listening who doesn't know anything about Guinness, that's actually really interesting to know. I had no idea that's kind of how it worked.
They're super strict,
and there's a ton of hoops you have to jump through, which we become very familiar with.
Which that's the thing is like it started as a joke. We did the Guinness thing as a joke, and then like when people started getting hyped, Pat and I were like, oh, maybe we should like work on this. Like, I don't know, tell Guinness. So I went online and did the submission, and like even my submission was kind of like half-assed. Looking back on it, I could have done better because they could have denied it. Because I didn't really my wording on it was awful. Now that I look back on it, because I just didn't take it seriously. And then once we got all the paperwork back and they like approved it and stuff, we were like, holy crap. Like we just had no idea. But the cool thing is now we know. Like it's actually going to be only easier from here on out if we want to do this again.
Looking at the numbers, were you expecting to exceed the previous record by that much? And what do you think about the numbers that you got from this? It's pretty crazy.
We were aiming for 253. The record was 252. We were like, let's get one more. That's all.
Like 300 people. We were just overwhelmed. Like we got it to work.
Yeah, we figured it out, but
we were not expecting that.
No, we were definitely not expecting any more than 300. Maybe 350, I think was kind of
was our stretch goal.
We're like, I hit 350. That'd be neat. And I think I put on when I had to submit like the paperwork, I like the estimate of how I think I put in like 300. Because you can't just write 253 on your submission because they're going to be like, you're not really going for the record. So I put 300. So no, we were not expecting nearly as many.
62 or 5 wizards.
Yeah.
So looking forward, after such a landmark success like the Wizard Party, are you guys at liberty to say what the next big thing is for the Brothers Cosplay?
Well, we're running an after party.
Well, yeah. Well, for the Brothers Cosplay, we're running. We are the official host of the All-Star Comic-Con after party.
First year, and
they reached out to us. They were like, they came to the Wizard Party, like they know what we do, and they reached out to us. They're like, can you guys be our like official guest hosts of the after party? And we were like, hell yeah, that sounds awesome. All-Star Comic-Con's run by some really cool dudes. They did a con called NovaCon last year, and then they rebranded. But we know that they throw cool parties, so we're very excited. So it's going to be a big party. But as far as Guinness stuff, we're there's a bunch that are like super achievable.
Like the most robots, the most ninjas, the most people dressed as Mario, the most people dressed as Vikings, the most people dressed as
Dragon Ball Z is very easily obtainable.
So like there's quite a few records out there that we could try to do.
So
it's just picking which one.
There's going to be another world record attempt at Magfest next year for a fact.
Okay.
What it is, we don't know. There's just because we're worried about how not Magfest, Guinness World Records is going to perceive a few things.
We were like, if we need to get like 300 people in a room in like cardboard box robot outfits,
it's gonna be hard.
That's going to be a real hassle.
Yeah, we're worried. We would love to do robots
because Mega Man,
and it's called Mega Manathon. But our biggest worry is that Guinness won't count Mega Man. He's like he's a person with a helmet on him. We're like, no, it's Mega Man. Like the Terminator could show up. And it's obviously to us, it's Terminator, but to Guinness, it's a guy with a leather jacket on. So we're still going back and forth. Ninjas is on the table.
And for $5, you can make your own world record. You can submit a request for your own world record. And basically, they'll either say yes or no, and then they'll give you a benchmark you got to hit. If they say no, they keep your $5.
Yeah, it sucks.
But for $5, most people dressed as Pixar characters or something like that. I don't know.
Most people dressed as those Knuckles guys. No, doing that for a record.
That's gonna be
that would be terrible.
It's gonna be it's already dead.
Yeah, it'll be well dead before next time. But yeah, we're still thinking about what next year's party is going to be like, but we can guarantee it's going to be bigger. It's going to be better. We're going to have the bands are going to be crazier. Like Brian is already he said to us, whatever crazy shit pops up in your heads, we're down for it. So we're very excited. I just hope Magfest is ready because it's only going to get bigger from here. Because we just want to throw awesome world record parties, and hopefully Magfest is okay with that. So far they have been. They haven't said anything to us, so anything negative that. But yeah, as of right now, we don't have it pinpointed. We got to do a lot more research before we have the party. But hopefully the event will be announced around August, closer to Magfest.
All right. Well, that's the interview. I just want to thank you guys for agreeing to do with this, and also congratulate you on the record.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would also say, so what are your guys' like Twitter handles or anything you guys want to plug? Like where can people find you guys?
Find us on Instagram at The Brothers Cosplay. On Twitter, I think we're Brothers Cosplay. So no the, and then on Facebook we are The Brothers Cosplay. So we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Mostly on Instagram, but that's only because cosplay photos, people like seeing photos of cosplay. But yeah, it's usually The Brothers Cosplay, but on Twitter it's Brothers Cosplay.
What was that? Magfest, you guys are fucking awesome. Sadly, this will be our last song for the evening. Because it is time to do the Mario! Thanks, Charlotte. Thank you guys so fucking much. We'll drop this one on the book. Everyone fucking tag themselves. See how many we can. Fucking love you, Magfest. Thank you so much. We're gonna be hanging out right outside this room at our merch table back there. Hanging outside and shit. Have a beer with us. See you guys around. Thank you.
What is your name and how far did you travel?
Okay, my name's Kenneth Adams. I'm disabled, but I traveled about 25 miles, 30 miles to get here. It's a local con to me.
Time-wise,
Probably about 35 minutes, thereabouts.
how many years have you been going for Magfest?
I've been going since 2010. Been ever since they were over at the Ramada over in Alexandria. A friend of mine let me know about the thing, and I decided I would check it out. I've been a real big fan of it ever since. The mix of music and games interest, and more recently the cosplay that's been going on. There's a spirit to it that is really a lot of fun. I mean, it's like a 4-day party, you know. It's just been, it's a big blast. You get to hang out with your friends and just talk shop.
So out of all the different things that Magfest has to offer, like concerts, cultural parties, arcade, jam space, etc., which of these would you say is your favorite part of Magfest?
Well, to be honest, I've been spending a lot of time at the panels. It's interesting what they are able to bring in every year. I've enjoyed the Voice of Palooza panels. A couple of years back, they had Ellen McLean and John St. John, and that was a blast. It's also really cool to see a lot of the other YouTube personalities here, and they can often go into depth about how they got started, which is interesting because it's it's very soup to nuts. You get an idea of how the sausage is made, which is a lot of fun.
Out of the YouTubers that you've seen here at Magfest, not this year but in general, like which would you say are like that stand out to you most?
Well, I would say that Rue of Retroware, or he previously was of Retroware. Forgotten where he's gone now, but the Happy Video Game Nerd. I really enjoyed one of the things that he did, where he sort of went through step by step how he got started. A lot of the Retroware guys have done that. Pat the NES Punk. There are also other interviews that have been really good. I I got to meet my two favorite game music composers. My brain's blanking on the names. Chris Husbeck and he did the music on Streets of Rage. I'm trying to remember. I can't believe I'm blanking on this name. The two of them did a joint panel, and that was an absolute blast for me because I got to meet two of my heroes.
I feel like you already touched on it a little bit, but what would you say is your favorite Magfest memory from Magfest?
Last year, my partner and I, we worked on a music video. We kind of shot it, we kind of did guerrilla filmmaking. We crashed a bunch of the cosplay meets and, asking for volunteers for various things. Basically, we did Falco from Star Fox singing "I Ain't Got Nobody" as sung by David Lee Roth. We did basically a big wacky music video, and that was a lot of fun.
It's already Saturday. What would you say is so far, what is the highlight of Magfest 2018?
There was a panel last night about video game preservation, about the history of video games, the means to preserve it. That was that was a very interesting talk. The arcade, this year they've got an F-Zero arcade machine, full sit-down unit. So that's been a lot of fun.
So far, has this year been better or worse than your last Magfest?
This year has actually been kind of low-key. Previous years have been very high energy. Something about this year has just been very laid back, which has been interesting. It's a different, kind of a change.
I feel that too. Although really that is if you think about it, there's a theme of Magfest.
Yeah.
Laid backness.
Yeah. Well, when I'm talking about, high energy, I mean, it's just stuff going on everywhere.
Okay, will you be coming back to Magfest next year?
Almost certainly.
Good answer. Would you do anything different at future Magfests? Meaning, not you personally, but what would you, if there's anything you would change about the show?
Well, the things that I'd like to change about the show are unfortunately things that really aren't possible. It's Magfest has gotten so big that the hotel sold out in 5 minutes, literally.
Did you have issues getting into the hotels, or how did you secure hotels?
This year we didn't. We've been commuting in from Woodbridge.
So you're commuting every day?
Yeah.
But normally in previous years you would get a hotel at the Gaylord or somewhere around there.
If we could manage it. Otherwise, we just hang here. I mean, just, commute between home and here.
Anything you would like to say personally about Magfest, video games, conventions, the Gaylord, anything that's on your mind you want to just finish off with, the floor is yours.
Okay. I feel like right now video games are kind of at a crossroads. We've gone from a niche hobby to a multi-billion-dollar business in the last 20 years. And we've lately, in the last 5 years or so, really started to see the dark side of what that means when a hobby becomes super successful. This might sound a little controversial, but I'm almost hoping that the AAA industry goes under because it's not sustainable the way it is. I'm hoping that I would like to see the experimental stuff that we saw with the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 generations kick off again, and not be so boiled down into formulas for games for what makes a successful game. You know, right now we have mega publishers that will only publish 1 or 2 games a year, and they expect those to be like mega hits that do 7, 8, 10, 12 million copies. Otherwise, they consider it a failure. And meanwhile, you have small outfits like From Software that puts out Demon Souls and Dark Souls, and I think their numbers were like at most 3-4 million, but they didn't have these ridiculous production expenditures that they were putting out because they didn't overreach as far as a lot of the mega publishers do. I'm really hoping that maybe with the collapse of the AAA industry, that maybe we'll see a return to that.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Black. I'm currently a college student, got about a year left before graduation, and I only traveled about 20 odd miles to get here, about a 30-minute trip.
How many years have you been going to Magfest?
This is my 5th year, the big number 5. Yeah, started in 2014, and now it's 2018.
How did you find out about Magfest?
I found out it through my mate, Kenneth. He introduced me. It was just one day I was hanging out for the holidays, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to go to Magfest?" I'm like, "Well, what's Magfest?" And he says, "Oh, it's this awesome thing. You got to check it out." And I did, and I absolutely fell in love with it.
What would you say makes Magfest different from other conventions?
What makes Magfest different from other conventions? I love the laid-back attitude of Magfest. I've been to a lot of anime and comic book conventions over the years, and it's usually, you got to go to this, do that, check out the panels, get the autographs. Magfest doesn't have a lot of that. Now, I mean, it has a lot of great stuff to check out. The arcade is the only thing I can compare the arcade to is this one time I went to the San Diego Comic-Con and Anime Next about a decade ago, and the idea that we're in this little smaller convention area and having an arcade that amazing has set this place apart from everyone else.
All the Magfests that you've been to, which one would you say is the best Magfest?
Oh man, that's kind of hard. I mean, they keep getting better every year. Man, I think the second Magfest we went to in 2015 was a really great year. A lot of people that I was looking forward to meet was there. Rebecca Sugar, the Angry Video Game Nerd, a good panel from that guy with the glasses, and the voice of Palooza was great too, because we had John St. John and Gladys in the same room. Very amazing stuff. Plus, it was the first time I got to really test out cosplaying too. I've been cosplaying at other conventions, but this is the first one where wearing a video game costume really stood out among everyone else. It was also the first year I discovered the Smash Brothers photo shoot, which I've been helping with my friends host every year since.
Character are you cosplaying, and how long have you been cosplaying?
I cosplay as Falco Lombardi. I've always felt that birds are my spirit animal, and I just felt like a natural fit. I've always liked Falco because he's a lot of the things that I wish I had the courage to be. That's what cosplay really does for a lot of people, though. It gives them a lot of courage to go out their comfort zone and be someone else for a little bit. I've been cosplaying Falco since 2015, constantly trying to improve the costume. I think I'm about to start my 4th iteration on the headpiece. But as I said, this Magfest really is the one place where I can really stand out as a video game cosplayer without worrying about competing with whatever the latest anime is. Not that there's anything wrong with anime. I like anime. I like video games more, though.
So you will be doing a photo shoot, cosplay photo shoot later today, right?
Yes, at 4 p.m. We're doing our... Now this will be the 5th year that they've done it, but it'll be the 4th year I've helped host with my friends Lee and Courtney to put together a good gathering that I'm hoping will knock people's socks off.
Are there any other characters or even cosplay ideas that you have in the future? Anything you'd like to try?
Well, we've done roughly 2 out of the 5 years. We've done 2 music videos. The first one was an absolute. I went way too far. You know, that's the one thing about Magfest is you can't do everything at once. I know this is a little off topic, but you really can't do everything at Magfest. If you try to do everything, you're just going to walk away disappointed. Now, it probably was the low point of 2015 too, was making that very mistake. It's like the first year, I didn't even know what to do. But we do have projects in mind. We want to do another music video next year. It's kind of been an on-year, off-year kind of thing. And I'm hoping to do more like just video game ideas with my friends, you know, just run around in costume a little, play games, just stand out for a bit. At least that's what I'm hoping to do next year.
What would you say that up to this point is your highlight of Magfest 2018?
Oh boy, the highlight. This year has been a bit low-key. There have been some controversies about people, you know, they've been kind of disappointed how Magfest handled the hotel situation. Again, going a little off topic. Because of that, I saw a lot of people sell their badges or just vowed not to come. So this year, I don't know, there's something about this year that feels a lot more low-key than what it was last year. Just really getting to see my friends and to hang out has been a high point. Getting to meet a couple people I really enjoy seeing every year. I mean, there's a lot of... what we got is the Mag Fam. People all up and down the East Coast who come together and we meet up. We only ever get to see each other once a year, and that always is the highlight for Magfest for me. It's just getting to hang out with my Mag Fam for a bit.
So, when I tend to encounter an interview with a lot of people I talk about Magfest in general, is that Magfest is very unique, and part of your Mag Fam, I believe you can get this kind of
familiarity
at any other type of convention, or it just because personally, I can just interject, it really feels like it's exclusive to Magfest.
It kind of is. I mean, when I think about all the other conventions I've been to, NecoCon, AMA, just AwesomeCon, and the furry conventions I like to go to, I guess the Mag Fam, the only thing I really could compare the Mag Fam to would be the Furry Fam, the furry family that I've developed over the years at some of the smaller furry conventions too. It's really hard to do that at, say, an anime or comic book conventions. They either are so big or they're so integrated to the town that they're familiar with. All you can really do is make friends with, well, just to go with the friends that you're already friends with. Sure, you make a few acquaintances, but as I said, the Mag fam has always felt very supportive here. It does feel very unique compared to just the anime or comic book conventions.
Will you be coming back to Magfest next year?
Oh yes, definitely. We're hoping that, by then Magfest people, and I love you guys, I know you guys are working so hard, hopefully they'll have a better hotel situation set up, that hopefully we can be able to get a room somewhere close. I know we don't live that far away, but you do miss a lot at Magfest when you don't get the opportunity to stay the night. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to next year. Hopefully there'll be a next year.
And the floor is yours. Anything you want to say Magfest related, gaming, etc. It's
I just want to say that, getting to know the people who also work at this convention are probably some of the most dedicated people I've ever seen. They really do go underappreciated, and I wish more people would go to shake their hands or give them a thank you. Because really, this is what's so amazing about Magfest is all of this. All of this is volunteered run. All of this is done by fans, for fans, with fans, whatever you want to call it. Never, there's no corporate sponsorships, no influences from EA or Ubisoft. Really, there never feels like, there's no corporate mandate, there's no influences from advertisers, really. That's what makes it so magical, because it is all for the fans of video games and video game related music. Whew, I just got to get that off my chest.
So what I like to do in the spirit of Magfest, would you be willing to do an on-field Colossus run?
Yes. I would like to do the Colossus Roar, but I really want to put on my costume. That's cool. Alright, cool. Let me just get into character.